From California Insider, former CDC director predicts bird flu virus will cause next pandemic. And I don't know what's up with this guy. He definitely looks like a movie villain. I thought he was completely evil, which he very well could be at the beginning of Rona. But then he kind of came out and made a little bit of sense when it all started going completely haywire. But now he's back pretending that bird flu will be the quote unquote next pandemic. And I guess this isn't new. We've done bird flu, swine flu, mad cow disease. The list goes on. But just remember that you have to remain afraid of everything. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot, and it would cost you nothing. But if you wanted to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. But they say, Dr. Robert Redfield, even his name sounds like a Batman villain, former director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, has issued a grim prediction for the next major pandemic, which will be caused by the bird flu. I really do think it's very likely that we will, at some time, it's not a question of if, it's more a question of when, we will have a bird flu pandemic. Dr. Redfield told News Nation in an interview published on June 14th. U.S. officials recently confirmed that the highly pathogenic avian influenza virus has been detected in a cow herd in Wyoming, the 12th state to report an infection. And maybe I'm misinformed, maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like we do this every couple years, right? They know now that it can really, stir up chaos because of what happened with Rona. But even when I was a kid, all those other things that came and went, and I never heard of anybody. Now, I guess I'm not Mr. Worldwide. I don't know that many people, but I never heard of anybody actually coming down with this. And there was E. coli outbreaks at Jack in the Box or whatever. The list is really long, but I guess all that said, the point really is to just remain afraid. The former CDC director said the bird flu, when it enters humans, has a significant mortality. Oh, you're going to die. Do what we say or you're going to die. Classic. Probably somewhere between 25 and 50% mortality. So it's going to be quite complicated, Dr. Redfield said. Since around 2019, there's been a progressive increase in the number of mammal species to which the bird flu virus has spread, with alpacas becoming the latest species to fall sick after coming into contact with the pathogen, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. And of course, none of these people can be trusted. I'm sure this is happening, but maybe I'm too far removed from the animals, but the alpacas, they're coming into contact with cows that eventually make it to the grocery store or restaurants. Why are we so afraid of this? Look, if it's your time, it's your time, right? You're going to live on edge. You're going to be testing your meat. What the hell are you supposed to do about this?
Oh! I just got tagged by a bat.
He got you.
I got tagged.
Yeah, I see
Suck
it.
out the poison
Not
D.
sucking on your
Suck
head.
it out. I'll give you $200. You suck it out. Suck
$200?
It.
I'll do it.
Whoa,
Suck my head.
I'll do it
Suck
for
it.
$200.
Suck it quick.
What are you? This is the kind of
suck it
scene that I
harder.
was talking
Suck it
about.
harder.
Go home, please.
Suck it harder.
I got it.
Did you swallow it?
Of course I
Make
swallowed.
yourself throw up? Yeah, you swallowed the poison.
Oh,
Get it out.
Vomit.
What are you doing? There is no poison from a bat. No, you are going to ruin this. You're all going to ruin this.
Dr. Redfield said that as the bird flu has spread to more than 24 mammals in the United States, the virus has been adapting and learning how to change its use of receptors, with the risk of making a jump to humans growing by the day. So it hasn't even happened yet, but it could. Just remember, it could. In fact, you should probably eat bugs. That would be better. So it's going through a lot of changes, and as it picks up some of these new receptors, it can get closer and closer to humans. Once the virus gains the ability to attach to the human receptor and then go human to human, that's when you're going to have the pandemic. And as I said, I think it's just a matter of time. So it hasn't happened yet, but it will, and you should listen to me and do as I say. Otherwise, you're probably going to die. While Dr. Redfield said it's impossible to predict with accuracy when the bird flu might start going human to human, He said, the recent development of dairy cattle contracting the virus is alarming because cows are often in close proximity to pigs, and pigs have tended to be the last stepping stone for viruses before the jump to humans. So none of this has happened. They can't predict with accuracy. They do not know when, but it will happen eventually. Dr. Redfield added, the natural evolution of the virus to where it becomes highly infectious to humans is less of a concern to him than the possibility that it will increase its virulence under lab conditions through gain-of-function research. Okay. The recipe for making bird flu highly infectious to humans is already well established, Dr. Redfield said, recalling that gain-of-function research on the avian influenza virus was carried out in 2012 against his recommendations. Okay, so more than a decade ago, you took a stance against research that was gain-of-function research on the bird flu. So, okay, whatever, right? It seems like they're kind of letting this happen on purpose. Well, I was against it, but it happened anyways. And now it's probably going to happen again, and it's still really dangerous. So why do you keep doing this? I mean, these people, I don't know a better way to describe it except for just movie-level villains. Like, why are you doing this? Is to gain powers, to gain control, get some sort of government grant for research, and the cycle continues. It's kind of like San Francisco, how we're going to throw some more money at the homeless people, and then it's not going to help. It's only going to get worse, so we're going to ask for more money and pretend we're going to throw it, and the cycle continues. Since late March, the highly pathogenic avian influenza virus has been reported in more than 80 dairy herds across the country. So far, 3 human infections has been reported in the United States, 2 in Michigan, and 1 in Texas, all dairy farm workers. The CDC said in a June 12th bird flu update that it's monitoring the situation closely and the current risk to public health remains low. H5N1 bird flu is widespread in wild birds worldwide and is causing outbreaks in poultry and U.S. dairy cows, with 1 recent human case in a U.S. dairy worker, the agency said. While the current public health risk is low, listen to us, otherwise it's going to get higher. Those are my words, not theirs. CDC is watching the situation carefully and working with states to monitor people with animal exposure. CDC is using its flu surveillance systems to monitor for H5N1 activity in people. Bird flu gain-of-function research, ? Dr. Redfield has in the past warned about the dangers of gain-of-function research. See, and that's him, I guess, kind of being sane in a world of insanity. But again, the bar is really quite low. So just saying something that kind of makes sense amongst all of these weirdos that want to take control of everything and are conducting gain-of-function research to make things worse on purpose, that's far worse than this guy who is, who is evil, but a little less than the rest of the people, I guess. Who knows? But, okay. Dr. Redfield in past has warned about the dangers of gain-of-function research, which involves altering the properties of a pathogen, such as its virulence, in order to study its potential effects on human health. Proponents of such research argue it can help scientists better learn how the virus behaves and spreads, and come up with countermeasures more effectively. Okay, yeah, that's what you want to call it, countermeasures. So we're going to come up with more pharmaceuticals that we can eventually make a whole bunch of money off of. I guess. I don't know. Opponents say the potential benefits are outweighed by the risks that such research poses, as it can make, I think there's a typo here, as it can make viruses more lethal to humans. And that's just the cost of doing business, right, Dr. Fauci? During a March 8th, 2023 session of the House Select Committee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, Dr. Redfield called for a moratorium on this type of research, while expressing the view that Rona was caused by an accidental leak from a China-based lab where the virus was being subjected to experiments. And there he is once again, I guess, being the voice of reason. But I, of course, could make the argument that it really doesn't matter where it came from, because as far as I'm concerned, it's quite literally just a thing we already had with a new marketing team. And that's why, of course, they changed it. We remember back in the day, during the toilet paper scare of 2020.
Oh my God, the coronavirus is coming. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? There's no milk or bread. There's no water, no milk or bread. There's no shit paper. There's no shit paper. How am I gonna wipe my ass with no shit paper? You kidding me? There's no freaking toilet paper. Oh my God. I'm going into a panic. This is hysterical. Hysteria. I can't believe it. How am I gonna wipe my ass?
That it was called coronavirus until somebody spotted that very word on the back of a Lysol bottle, and it had to change because it was much more scientifical. While many believe that gain-of-function research is critical to get ahead of viruses by developing vaccines, in this case, I believe it had the exact opposite result, unleashing a new virus on the world without any means of stopping it and resulting in the deaths of millions of... Okay, fine. There's really no way to fact check, and I'm sure everybody's going to say, oh yeah, I know somebody who got it, I know somebody... Sure, I guess, but you could also make the argument that there was more flu deaths, and then the flu disappeared for about 2 or 3 years, which the media actually said, oh, where's the flu this year? You just kind of called it a different thing. But I'm no doctor, and I digress. But Dr. Redfield said at the time, referring, COVID-19, because of this, it is my opinion that we should call for a moratorium on all gain-of-function research until we can have a broader debate and come to consensus as a community about the value of gain-of-function research. Oh, you want to have a conversation? And you want to do science? And you want people to keep their mind open and take in new information? That's just not going to be possible, right? I mean, we saw it for several years. You were not allowed to have a difference of opinion. You were not allowed to do anything.
Hey, I'm not allowed to eat it with the skin. I'm not allowed.
Otherwise, you could quite literally be banned from the internet for saying the wrong thing. Doctors, right? Notoriously, there was 2 doctors, I think, in San Diego who said something the mainstream media didn't like, and they were damn near eliminated from practicing their job. And look, this is filler, right? This is fluff. I don't think this is going to be really mainstream news, at least not right now. I don't know, maybe in October when they have nothing left to bank on except for foisting another pandemic, but we can all see through it by this point. So your best bet is to stop with the scaremongering, do your research without turning it into news, and maybe the Democratic elites who typically use things like this and all the scaremongering and all the you're going to die tactics should stop all that and come up with a plan that people actually like, and maybe you can win over quote unquote votes and win re-election without lying, cheating, and stealing.